By now, everyone's heard about Florida's housing mess. Prices exploded in 2022, fueling bidding wars and making headlines across the country. But then, somewhere in 2024, the mood shifted. But what we're about to see is that Florida's markets aren't just crashing, they're imploding. This isn't a mild correction. In many places, the scale of decline is already on par with 2008, and the momentum suggests it could get even worse. And no, that's not exaggerating. Behind the polished headlines and stats is a story that's shattering in real time, and it begins in Florida's condo market, ground zero for this collapse. Now here's the truth, we've covered this before, but today I'm going to show you where the official numbers stand and then show you what's not showing up in the data, because the reality is Florida's condo market isn't just correcting, it's already imploded far beyond what the media is reporting. If you look beneath the surface, it's an absolute disaster. Take the official chart. According to Zillow, the typical condo in Punta Gorda has dropped 26% since peaking in August 2022. That's a staggering decline, nearly on par percentage-wise with the national collapse of 2008. But many people dismiss this, saying, well, prices are still higher than what they were before 2020, and that's technically true but misleading. The way this data is reported masks the real damage happening on the ground. First, look at the pace of decline. In just the past year, condo values in Florida are down almost 15%. If that pace continues, prices officially will sink below pre-2020 levels within 18 months, and that's only part of the story. Because there's evidence the collapse is already deeper than this chart shows. I've highlighted dozens of specific examples over the past year, and here's the thing, many of those same condos that were sitting unsold with major price cuts are still on the market today. Take this neighborhood as an example. Back in the summer, we looked at a similar condo that once carried a $701,000 valuation. By August, one down the street was listed for $450,000, and even at that price, no buyers. Now the estimate has slipped again, down to $430,000. That's a 40% collapse from the peak, and yet the real value might be even lower because nothing here is actually selling. These condos aren't moving. They're either sitting being pulled off the market or just stuck in limbo, a clear sign the official data isn't capturing how deep this implosion really goes. The few condos that have sold in this area only prove how severe the damage really is. Take this one, an absolutely absurd case. It's a standard 2-bedroom, 2-bath 1980s condo, nothing special. Back in 2002, it sold for $122,000. Over the years, the value bounced around, and by early 2022, it was valued at about $302,000. And just a couple of weeks ago, it sold for $127,000. That's a 58% collapse from the peak, basically selling for the same price it fetched nearly 25 years ago, a quarter century wiped out in one sale. Now you may think I'm cherry picking here, but try it for yourself. Head to Punta Gorda in Zillow, set the filter to sold in the last 3 months and condos only, and you'll see for yourself. The few condos that show as sales truly showcase the real damage. There are many more examples we can go through. And just to prove that it's not a one-off, we can fly through a couple more. This unit just sold for $180K after being valued at nearly $400,000 in early 2023. That's a real 55% decrease. Now you might be thinking, well, okay, but that estimate by Zillow might be off for some reason. There's no evidence that customers really believe their condo was valued at $400,000, for example. This was just some obscure algorithm at one point in time. Well, we have evidence that this is truly what the market believed at the time. For example, this 2-bedroom, 2-bath sold for $250,000 a week ago. Now, before that, it was listed for $342,000 in April, showcasing that sellers are actually under the impression that these declines are not real. In many instances, a seller will post a condo above this line, as it happened here, and it took 3 massive price cuts for this unit to move, ultimately falling 35%. Now, you can try to blame a lot of different reasons, but there is no explanation for 50% drops. That simply is direct evidence of a bubble imploding, not some side factor like weather or insurance. Yes, it's true those things played a role in Florida's decline, but it's not common in history that an occasional hurricane or insurance caused the total implosion of an entire region's market. This is much deeper than that. If you dig into forums or Twitter, you'll find countless first-hand accounts of people losing massive amounts of money on their Florida condos. For example, this Canadian claims it took nearly a year and 3 faltering offers to sell his for a $175,000 loss, claiming that the market down there is in a complete freefall. And the biggest concern is the fact that nobody realizes it. The sellers are either pulling their listings or refusing to accept the new price levels, or they're just letting them linger, hoping for a turnaround. But the truth is that in a lot of these instances, it would take massive price cuts to make any sort of move in these markets. This is why a lot of people, including myself, believe that the damage isn't really captured by the price and estimate data. It's actually a lot worse for the Southwest Florida condo market, and it's very possible that right now we have 50% declines in a lot of spots, which puts us on par with what we saw in 2008. In real estate, oftentimes during a downturn, it takes a year for the market to realize what's truly happening, and when it does, that's when the true panic begins. Right now, it's sort of frozen. Everyone is aware there is a problem, they just don't realize how bad it truly is. Everyone senses that something is wrong, but many owners still cling to the idea that last year's prices might return. Meanwhile, higher insurance premiums, rising HOA fees, and elevated mortgage rates are all working against them. Even cash buyers are growing cautious. The visible slowdown is only the surface. Beneath it, distressed sellers are quietly negotiating steep discounts, investors are pulling back, and financing for condos is tightening. The result is a feedback loop where each stalled sale drags down the next round of comparables. In other words, the price charts and automated estimates you see online are lagging indicators. Now, everything I showed you today is just a fraction of what's really happening in many of these markets. On Foreclosure.com, I can pull up areas like Punta Gorda or Fort Myers and see dozens of condos flagged as pre-foreclosure or bank-owned that never make it into Zillow or the mainstream stats. One example just this week, a 2-bedroom, 2-bath going to auction next month. That's the kind of inside look investors are using to stay ahead. And here's the best part, you don't have to take my word for it. Foreclosure.com has a 7-day free trial. So you can type in your own city right now, run a search, and see for yourself what the market really looks like on the distress side. I've left a link in the description below and in the pinned comment. Check it out before this window closes. Thank you guys for watching. As always, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed it. And if you're a condo owner or buyer in Florida today, I would love to hear from you in the comments below. Let me know what you're seeing on the ground today. Whether it's price cuts, slower sales, or any other unexpected trends others should know about, I'll be sure to highlight some of those insights in an upcoming video.